Greetings, greetings.
No,
Greetings.
it's not up yet, Baba.
It's not? Okay,
Not on Facebook yet.
okay.
Now, it's up.
All right, okay. We are starting this Freedom Friday Forum. Today being June 9th, 2023. One day before the commemorative day of the passing of the great founder of the UNIAACL, and that is our leader, continue even in ancestral land, Marcus Messiah Garvey. Okay, folks, we're going to start with the official UNIA pledge to the flag. That's a must. That's standard, as I said earlier. This being a program of UNIAACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020, coming from Division 330, RC 2020. On our Facebook page, those of you who are on there right now, welcome. And I welcome everybody else. And those of you who will be watching later on YouTube, welcome. All right. The official UNIA pledge to the flag. I commit my body, mind, and spirit to the protection, defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of her scattered Black children. I accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism, and I promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail, until all Black people are free and united through one God, one aim, one destiny. And that is our pledge. And I hope it's the pledge of everyone else in the world of African people. And we also must do the preamble of the Constitution of the UNIAACL, which is the descriptive form of who we are as a government, as an organization, leading our people to the redemption from white domination. The Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society, and is founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro peoples of the world. And the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their people, their noble race, and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of men shall be called blessed. And that's the opening ritual of the Freedom Friday Forum, as always. And today, as you know, we have our ancestral tribute to the ancestral warriors, whirlwind warriors. And for that, I will turn you over to no other but our First Assistant President General, Baba Senghor Baye. Over to you, Baba.
Yeah, Hete Pu, everybody, Alafia, Hotep, and good to see everybody. Baba Mosi, thank you for that. And thank you for opening up this Freedom Friday for us. For those that are listening, we're going to do a serious libation. And I ask everybody, whenever you decide, do your own libations. Just listen. And before I bring on our President General to bring an opening message, I'm going to share a few words, sound power with you. But this is the libation. We want to pour water for our good brother, Runoko Rashidi. We want to pour water for our good sister, Brenda Dunn Clayton. We want to pour water for Amanifu Harvey. We want to pour water for James Wilson. We want to pour water for Paula Wright Coleman. We want to pour water for Bente Renee Saul. We want to pour water for Hassim Nkrumah. We want to pour water for Delani Aman. We want to pour water for Verona Irate. We want to pour water also for Amy Jocks Garvey, and we want to pour water also for Marcus Garvey, and we want to pour water for all the other ancestors. But this is a reminder, build your altars, y'all. Put your ancestors on your altar and do libations, because it's very serious, because we believe in life after life. Of course, the President General will probably explain a little more detail of that message that he gave to us some time ago of life after life is so important. But it wouldn't be right without me sharing the life of Marcus Garvey with you all. So as Garvey, the legacy ignited, a tribute to Marcus Garvey, visions and courage. In honor of Marcus Garvey, a visionary leader whose voice rose strong, a beacon for the oppressed. With a motive and purpose, he stood tall and inspired. He heard the cries of generations longing to be blessed, not driven by money, nor by seeking lofty position. His heart beat with a calling, a sacred mission, for he knew in his soul the weight of history's pain, the suffering endured, a legacy not in vain. Garvey, they whispered from the depths of time, your day has arrived. It's your moment to shine. We've toiled for 250 years. Our hopes now reside in the actions you take, the change you'll provide. With courage and determination, he took up the fight to uplift the Black race with unyielding might. He envisioned a future where pride would be restored, where unity and empowerment would be deeply adored. Through the Universal Negro Improvement Association, he rallied hearts and minds, creating a sensation with words that resonated like thunder in the sky. He ignited the flames of hope, never to let them die. Marcus Garvey, a trailblazer of his time, a visionary leader whose spirit still shines. His legacy lives on in the hearts he inspired. And let his words echo as a timeless decree that justice and equality for all must always be. Marcus Garvey, your flame will forever burn, guiding generations with lessons we must learn. In the struggle for freedom, your spirit remains a testament to the resilience where hope always reigns. Now, brothers and sisters, just before I turn on to the President General, let's hear Garvey in his own words, and let's really understand what he's saying here. Now, this is taken from the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, volume 2, page 237 and 238, 239, and I'm reading from 239. I'm not doing the whole piece. If I die in Atlanta, my work shall then only begin, but I shall live in the physical or spiritual to see the day of Africa's glory. When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, black, and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise with God's grace and blessings to lead the millions up the heights of triumph with the colors that you well know. Look for me in the whirlwind or the storm, Look for me all around you, for with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of Black slaves who have died in America and the West Indies and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. The civilization of today has gone drunk and crazy with its power, but such it seeks through injustice, fraud, and lies to crush the unfortunate. But if I am apparently crushed by the system of influence and misdirected power, my cause shall rise again to plague the conscience of the corrupt. For this I am satisfied, and for you I regret. I am glad to suffer and even die. Again I say, cheer up, for better days are ahead. I shall write the history that will inspire the millions that are coming and lead the posterity of our enemies to reckon with the host for the deeds of their fathers. With God's dearest blessings, I leave you for a while. Now let that resonate with you while we think about our other 9 ancestors that we're honoring, our recent ancestors, and there are many. But without any further ado, I'm going to turn you over to the current President General, our brother, our definitely visionary brother for the 21st century, Brother Akili Malik Nkrumah, President General. Please give us an opening.
Asante Sana.
Dante Sana.
And Hotep, everyone.
Hotep.
Habayani, Alafia. And I say those things because I want us to be connected to our root. Sante to you, Brother Senghor, for the excellent words and the readings that you presented. So I want to move based on what you've heard. Marcus Messiah Garvey said, look for me in the whirlwind, and I will be the real Marcus Garvey. In essence, it's life to life. There's no death. Our human body, our forms may decay and go away. But the essence that we relate to that move this body is the spirit that lives within. It is the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, despite all of the forces that came against him, that has managed to keep the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League alive. It has been our responsibility as the Rehabilitating Committee of 2020 to make sure we stay steadfast to that mission. It's not a mission about making money for us. It's a mission about moving our race to the next level. It's about recognizing the power of our African sisters because African women lead. You see, if you focus on the economics, you miss the thrust of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, because what he did with economics was to say, let's lay a foundation for us to build a nation that lifts our people out of poverty and out of oppression to a point of freedom. Not freedom, but freedom. To chart our course in the world and move us in that direction so that we sit at the table with every nation that as an equal partner, not a subservient one, not one following their directions, but one giving directions to the world. We were the first. And as the saying goes, we will be the last. That which is first will also be last. Our nations were first. Our nation will be the last on this world. And through our nation, we will lay the foundation for freedom of all people. Garvey wanted freedom for African people because he recognized other folks had what was deemed as freedom. I want freedom from the economic bonds. I want freedom from the political minutia. I want freedom from the threats of the military militaries in the world, and I want freedom to determine my own destiny and my people's own destiny, who raise our children as African people with an African language, with an African concept, recognizing the spiritual concept of African people. If we do that, then the world will come to us for our truths. We honor those who have gone before us because they have not left us. They have not left us. Life to life. The body goes, the spirit remains. If you stay connected to the spirit, you can connected to the views. We are connected to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, not just through his words, works, and deeds, but through the vision that he gave to the world of Africa being a nation unto herself, and African people, despite the colonization and the disrepair, becoming repaired, and African people becoming repatriated for those who choose to, and therefore build that African government, which is our mission, which is what we are representative of and symbolic of, an African government for African people all over the world. One based on the principles of Ma'at, justification, with the spirit and movement of the universal African nationalism as taught by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I look so forward to our interaction this evening and our recognition of those who we have selected, but truly understand, out of those that we have selected, there are many to still be recognized. So this is a beginning, not an ending, not a one time. Sante Sana, I turn it back to you, Brother Senghor.
Oh, thank you, PG. That was right on point. And brothers and sisters, for those that don't know, Garveyites have never lost for words.
That's true.
I just want to remind all y'all listeners out there that we speak from our minds, but our hearts direct our minds. And the spirit that is in Baba Akili, the spirit that is in Mama Mary, the spirit that is in me, and many of the others. I mentioned those three in particular because we got to vibe with they got the vibe with Thomas W. Harvey. We all got the vibe with Charles L. James. And that spirit that they passed on to us is in us. In addition to our spirit, in addition to our family spirit, like Baba Akili was just saying, life to life. We're born to live this physical life, but we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. But your experience is not over after your physical. But we're not talking about the man and the woman. We're talking about the plan. And the people that we chose to honor tomorrow is the elevation date of the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. ADASI, the African Diasporal Ancestral Commemoration Institute, along with other sources of ADASI around the world, and along with other groups, are all going to the water tomorrow. So it's going to be some powerful rituals taking place. And we wanted to set aside tonight, but like I said earlier, Runoko Rashidi, Brenda Dunn Clayton, Amadou Harvey, James Wilson, Paula Wright Coleman, Bente Renee Soul, Hasim Nkrumah, Delani Amon, Verona Irate, Amy Jocks Garvey, and Marcus Garvey, who all are in the whirlwind. And I want to open this up, and I want to start with a queen sister, because what Baba Akili just laid out, we understand we come through our mother's womb. We understand Mother Africa is calling us, and we understand African women rule. And the reason the world is upside down, as Garvey said, drunk with confusion, is because not enough of us understand the power of the African woman. We don't just wear the ankh. We understand that the African woman and the African man are key to go together. So I want to start with the Secretary General, my dear sister Mary Bolter, because not only does she know everybody that we just named, but Brenda Dunn Clayton served as an Assistant Secretary General for many, many years.
Many years.
And we all got a lot to say about all of them, but I want Mama Mary to start off And Mama Mary, just share some words about Brenda's living legacy, and then also segue into anybody you want.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, just want to say that Brenda lives with me every day, because I can't look too far to the right or to the left in my house without seeing something that she gave me. In my living room, there's a bookcase and a lamp. In my bedroom, a bedspread set and curtains. I mean, in my personal life, 2 or 3 of my coats that I wear all the time in the wintertime, I take turns, because she was an elegant woman and she wanted me to be as elegantly dressed as she was. So she didn't just talk about it, she would give me things. She didn't say anything, but she would give me things. And she gave me, most of all, her spirit, which was speaking truth to power. I could never, ever forget so many times when we were going places, she would give me a look and said, Mary, now when I look at you like that, it means be careful, watchful, because you're not watching, you're not careful. And that's why I think the good Lord put us together as Secretary General and First Assistant Secretary General for so long, over 10 years, because she did the things that I did not do. I would pay attention and make sure everything was written down, make sure everything was in order. But she made sure that the environment was correct. She made sure that the space was correct. She did not spare any costs. I'm talking about, when I say that, those people who know and knew Brenda, she spent big money to make sure the environment was correct for whatever the occasion was. It was not enough for her to just have a banquet with the regular dishes that were served. She got specially engraved bookmarks for every person who was sitting at the head table. She would make sure that she had the African diaspora all around. I mean, one year I never will forget, she borrowed a mask from DeGen, with one of the people that she shot with all the time. And to this day, whenever I go there, they say beautiful things about Sister Brenda and how much they miss her. And they said, tell Sister Margot to at least call us. That's what they always say. I don't even have to even ask. When I go in there, is it time for the ad? They just write the check out.
So Mary, I want you to continue, but while you just mentioned somebody, I want to bring on Sister Margot,
yes,
who is the sister to Brenda, and also serves as the First Assistant Secretary General today. So
yes.
Margot, if you would you add in Margot?
Sister Mary hit the nail on the head, but my sister introduced me into the UNIA many years ago. I continued to be a member, and I worked closely with her and Sister Mary. My sister was a devoted Garveyite, and she loved the UNIA. And she dedicated her time, energy, and like Mary said, especially her money,
she sure did,
into doing the work of the UNIA. And all I can say is I would do my best to continue in her legacy to do the work.
Yeah, you know, sister, you know, I just want to add in there, you know, she's like a sister from another mother to me, because what y'all don't know, what you don't know is every meeting when I served as President General, Sister Brenda would always come put something in my hand.
Absolutely.
And I would always tell her, no, Brenda, I don't do that, Brenda. She said, look, just you and Kathy, this is just for me. And so she was
Exactly.
determined that she would, and so, but that was to me love, but it didn't mean much what she was doing, but I didn't want her to do that all the time, but she did it all the time.
All the time.
And if I may,
Yes, sir.
if I may, I'm not going to just go to the era of when you were PG and I was your assistant. I want to go back to 121 in Philadelphia, Charles L. James being present, Sister Mary being present,
Mhm.
and the Sister Queen that we're speaking about was present.
Mhm.
She had, see, Mary Bolter got a look. And in the position I am now, I can deal with the look. But Sister Brenda had a look that, since I was in a different role, it was like the look that said, back up. This is what you're gonna do. Mary Bolter, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do know.
And as we moved, even as you were President General, and I would say to Mary, I'll pay my $10 to register. Don't give me nothing. I don't want it anyway. Mary would fight with me, but Sister Brenda would say, PG, first assistant. And I say, but I'll give it to the other. No.
That's right.
I say that to say that spirit of Sister Brenda,
Mhm.
even to the point of our beginning in RC 2020,
Mhm.
that spirit
Mhm.
helped lay the foundation upon which we stand.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, Sister Margot,
Mhm.
you carry you carry it.
Yes.
I do
And
my best.
no, listen to me. You
Mhm.
carry it. And
Mhm.
Mary Bolter
Mhm. Yes.
is the example, and she carries it too.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No
So
matter what struggles we have, I want you all to know
Mhm.
the blessings you have been and the blessings that you are, because Sister Brenda
Mhm.
still be in my ear.
mhm.
Mhm.
And sometimes I be trying to tell her, back up.
Yeah.
No. And she be like, no, PG. No. That single, what she was putting in your hand,
Yeah,
she
you're right.
now put it in my head.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same. You're right, PG. Well, you all, it's so important for us. And we're gonna talk about everybody else as well. But I just wanted
Mhm.
to stop on this because the Secretary General's position and her assistance is so important. And we're going to talk about my good brother Renoko. We're going to talk about Amanifu, James, Paula, Bente, Asim, Delani, and Verona, and Amy Jocks Garvey and Marcus Garvey. But for right now, while we're on the Secretary General, I want
Mhm.
to call on my sister Sheila Brown, who is not only emulating the legacy of not only Secretary General Amy Jocks Garvey, but Amy Jocks Garvey held many roles, many positions. So if Sheila would share with us a little bit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start talking about some of the other 8 ancestors. But while we on that part, because the PG's message was so clear about African women rule, and what the PG just said was, even when we were at the leadership, we always had the powerful sisters or African queens in our ears or their eyes upon us. And that's so important because the vibes don't lie. And I love the way the PG put that. So if Sheila, if you are with us, we're honoring these 9 great ancestors, but I would be remiss while we're talking about current Secretary Generals and we talked a lot about, you missed it, about Marcus Garvey, and we talked a lot about the legacy, but you've been doing such a great work in making sure people are clear that it wasn't just about the man, it's about the woman, Amy Jocks Garvey. So share with us, would you please, my sister Brenda, some words of inspiration, and then we'll come back to the other ancestors.
Sister Sheila, sir. Sister Sheila. You said Sister Brenda.
Oh yeah, well,
You just called her. You just called her into the room. Watch out. She might start talking. Go ahead, Sister Sheila.
I got Brenda on the brain, but anyway, go ahead, Sister Sheila.
Peace and blessings, family. I was so moved hearing some of the stories. I feel left out really because I never had an opportunity to meet some of these amazing personalities that you all are describing. So I have to live vicariously through your stories. They're moving stories and very relatable. And it is such a humbling experience to come before each of you powerful, ancient wisdom, resources that the libraries that you all represent for me. And so I'm very humbled to even be asked to say anything about Mother Amy, and definitely to present anything to you all. But I do love her so much, and I love also her husband and chief and leader, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And I've come to the conclusion that at some point in that majestic relationship that started before they were even born, that started in the cosmos, when the ancestors found it necessary for the both of them to be sent, each equipped with their own power to support one another in supporting nation, that they started to have what I refer to as a hive mind, where they could literally complete one another's thoughts, that Mother Amy could look at the conditions of the world and provide context, information, news articles, relevant content to share with her powerful king and husband and partner in justice and life. So that he was equipped to do the work of the provisional president of Africa. And so I'm on a mission in my own quiet little way to make sure that no one forgets that what we know that is good and righteous about the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, and much of what we know about his childhood and his work and his interpersonality, and even the UNIA itself, the history that so many other scholars have been able to feast on to create additional works, is due to Queen Mother Amy Euphemia Jakes Garvey, our supreme matron, a title that was bestowed upon her years after the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey's death. But when I went to New York, family, something shifted in my life. I thought I was going to, participate in these United Nations events. And what I realized is that one of the sole, if not sole purpose for me going was to take a step in front of a particular building that housed the life of these two ancestors, Mother Amy Euphemia Jakes Garvey and the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. The address is 133 West 129th Street. And I got to see for myself the building on the 6th floor that they shared in 1919, when really the relationship took off for Mother Amy in a way that put her into a powerful position of leadership and power. And so being in front of that building and actually standing in front of the door and peering inside the first corridor and looking at what might have been the original elevator and touching the same buttons that might have been touched when they were arriving home or meeting guests, and sitting on the steps that maybe even Baba Garvey might have sat on at the end of a cool day if he decided to, when he started smoking cigarettes for his asthma, might have sat on and reflected on the eve. And it was just something so powerful that I haven't quite been able to shake. And I'm trying to figure out, where am I supposed to go with this? But what keeps coming up for me is this beautiful relationship that was rooted in a kind of love that people could misguidedly referred to as romantic love. There was some of that there for certain, but what's very clear to me is that both of these individuals had surpassed the kind of romance that keeps couples together in ways that, you know, that fail us today, and allowed Mother Amy Garvey to endure what I called some overreaching. And what I came to the conclusion is that there was really no other woman equipped to do that kind of work, right? So she was this amazing force within the UNIA for her brilliance. I quite as kept think that we might have been sleeping on pure genius with both of them, literally. But certainly her father saw it when he, as a little girl, decided to place some newspapers in front of her and demand that she read them, and not only read them, but summarize them. And that he demanded that she be at least conversational in more than one language, and that he demanded that she equip herself with skills that defied his purpose for her life, which was for her to be a supreme nurse, right? But he was equipping her with these life skills, like teaching her how to shoot a gun and hold her place among men and stand up intellectually among peers of both sexes, right? So I don't know if he was consciously aware of the work that he was doing, or if he secretly wanted a boy, since that was his first child. But whatever he was doing, it enabled her, as the divine supreme matron that she was to become for us, to step into the shoes of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey in his most pressing time of need, when he was incarcerated and facing vulnerability, where he could not control his body and his movement, but was so confident in this powerful sister of his who exemplified everything that you as a man should want in a woman: brilliance, beauty, boldness, integrity, power, strength, conversation, intelligence, and passion. The same level of passion that inspired him to even sometimes neglect his personal need and the need of his family. Why she was able to tolerate that is because she had that same kind of race love, that same kind of drive for freedom, for nation, and for love of race. I like to quote her. She says, "For love of race and love of country." Right? She just had that, and she wanted so desperately for her people to have that as well. And so if I can say anything about Mother Amy Euphemia Jakes Garvey, is that the time for her to be honored and recognized for her immense contribution to everything that we now know about the UNIA, including the work that she did early on as the visionary that she was, to set up a hedge around the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey when she was brought to her attention at one of their earlier meetings in front of the UNIA headquarters. Remember, she was his personal secretary first before she ever worked for the UNIA. And so that means there's a division in loyalties, right? And so one of her primary focuses, seeing the condition of the office, was that he was being exposed to some legal issues that she needed to fix. And how did she know she needed to address that? Was because we quiet as kept already had our legal defense built into the UNIA, because Queen Mother had already served 3 powerful years, possibly 4, within the office of a law firm after her father passed, and he was no longer an obstacle to getting that kind of training. So she worked in a law office, managing her father's estate, but seeing everything that makes a law office run, and handling more and more and more responsibilities. And it was only after she completed that powerful course in her journey to being a global African leader, an archivist, a political analyst, a business administrator, and quiet as kept, a legal consultant, that she was able to move to the United States and step into her role just as brilliantly as destiny had designed. And so we honor this beautiful woman today for her contributions. And also this month, which is so ironic because June 27 was the day in 1919 that the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line. So this is a powerful month because, you know, for Africans and for Caribbeans and from Americans, that Black Star Line, although the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey was induced into it against his better judgment because of some of the conditions that were facing the world economically at that time, it was so moving for the people who were being suppressed on the seas, who had to go all the way into Europe to get to Africa, the missionaries, the brothers and sisters who just wanted to have the dignity of movement without having to wait for white people to finish eating before they could eat, and people from the Caribbean who just wanted to be able to ride freely without the indignities that were heaped upon a weak and defenseless people, as Mother Amy would say. And so this was confidence boosting, it was encouraging, and it was so powerful. So June is a powerful month for people of African descent. And for Mother Amy and the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey this month, I say for Mother Amy, when that happened, when the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey went to the Attorney General for an issue surrounding the first ship, and he was confronted by Attorney Edwin Kilrow about him wrongfully using UNIA funds to fund other businesses like the Negro World and to do things that were out of order, including raising funds outside of the state that he was in that incorporated. So he was shocked, and he suddenly became very clear to him that this movement, led by the leadership of the NAACP at the time.
So Sister Sheila,
Oh, sorry about that. You know, I can go on.
No. See, you, true Garvey, you talking about us as legacy, but I feel your spirit. But I for the sake of time, though, but believe me, we're gonna be coming back to that, to these very points that you're raising. And Baba Akili, we really want to move on. I'm gonna let you.
And I'm gonna help do that if I may. If I may, because the sister raised excellent points of historical factor. But what I wanted to do, since as we recognize the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and get close to his transition day, is to recognize that Amy Jacques Garvey, not being the first wife, but being the wife that was meticulously picked because of her unique qualities, that as we honor him, we honor her.
Yeah, sure.
So okay, so what I want to, y'all, we Garvey show, we long-winded, but I got a tough task because we just dealt with two queens, two powerful queens, Brenda and Amy Jacques Garvey. But we want to deal with some brothers, and I'm going to start with several of them at one time, and I'm going to open it up for all of y'all because I want to make sure that we get all these 9 their propers today. But remember, this is just series 1 of Reflection of the Ancestors. And I want you to know, Sheila, that Amy and Marcus will be in every one. There'll be 9 plus them in every one that we do. So we got plenty of time to deal with that. But I felt your spirit because I know your trip up to the UN and your visit to the spots. I've been there and checked those spots out. I mean, and I know how heavy that energy is in spirit, and I feel you. And I know you full of their spirit because they still, like, as we said earlier, life to life, they still are very much alive. And as I read earlier, Garvey said, count on him to be the real Marcus Garvey. Yeah. So anyway, Runoko Rashidi, Amanifu Harvey, and James Wilson. I'm gonna try to deal with all 3 of these brothers because each one of these brothers meant so much to me. Runoko, y'all, you should know Runoko Rashidi was not only our traveling ambassador, but
hold up, Baba Senghor. I apologize for interrupting you, but we have Brenda Clayton's son on this call.
Okay,
you may want to try to rope him in.
Well, we're not finished with Brenda.
No. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Thank you, PG. But Runoko Rashidi, Amanifu, Runoko Rashidi serves and still serves is our traveling ambassador. And the reason being, ain't nobody traveled as many places and done as much as Runoko Rashidi has done. Runoko did not only love Garvey, he did books, his energy, being younger than me, it was amazing because I'm his elder. I'm his elder, but the reality is Runoko Rashidi is still doing a lot of mojo work. Amanifu Harvey, my elder brother. First of all, Amanifu, for those who do not know, served also as our ambassador of social welfare and social services. Amanifu was a giant amongst us. People know the name Amos Wilson. But I'm here to tell you, Amanifu Harvey restructured the Black social work movement. And not only did he serve well with the UNIA, but he continues to serve in that capacity because he's got tentacles that he laid many, many places. James Wilson, I grew up with my brother, James Wilson. James Wilson, and it probably is some 330 people that want to talk about brother James, because James served in 330, just like Runoko did, but James was very, very active with 330. James Wilson was a lovable brother when he's with us, and is still lovable. He always gave, he always sacrificed, and he knew everybody. From Stevie Wonder, I'm telling y'all, James Wilson knew a whole lot of people. From Stevie Wonder, you know, to a lot of other artists. He's traveled the whole country, traveled the world. A lot of people don't know this about James. I'm telling you though, James was excellent networker of people energy. Paula Wright Coleman, let me say this real quick, and then I want people to jump in. But Paula Wright Coleman, the founder of Adasi. Adasi is continuing to do the work. She was one of the major founding members and a staunch member of Division 330. But Paula Wright Coleman was one of the founding members of Adasi. And Adasi will be hosting the Power Forward Walk to the Ancestors tomorrow, June the 10th, at Union Temple, and also Walk to the River. So it is very important for us to recognize her energy. And also another Adasi sister, very close to me and very close to Brother Zama, and godmother to one of my daughters, Bente Renee Soul. Every time we travel to Philadelphia to hook up with my brother Akili, even when we had Runoko there, we stayed with her. She always opened up her door to us, loving sister, and still powerful energy that's still amongst us. So what I want to do is backslide a little bit, but I really want to open it up to y'all because we got a couple more people that we want to specifically talk about, like Delani Amon. But right now, if Sister Brenda's son that's on with us, if he wants to share a few reflections, I don't know his name. I'm trying to see Mark Clayton. If you wish to share any words at this point, please do. Mark.
Sure. How's everybody? Thank you for giving me a moment to speak about my mom. My mom is with me every day. You know what I mean? And you can't say it any different. Her spirit is consuming. It's always around. The one thing that I can say is she loved her people. I mean, she truly loved her people in all of our flaws, all of our greatness, but she really loved her people, you know, and she was willing to support them any way she could, anybody, you know, and she loved the UNIA. You know, I remember her bringing me over on Drexel to Father's Day events, you know what I mean? And saying, no, you're gonna come. I want you to come to this event. You know, so she loved her people. She loved the UNIA. And that's kind of what I take with me every day. I love to see my aunt, her sister Margot, doing the work that she's doing with the UNIA, kind of taking the mantle and running with it. Love to see Mary. Haven't seen her in a little while, so it's good to see her on the video as well. But I'll just say, you know, my mom loved her people. She did everything she could, from finances to lecturing, to scolding, to praising her people. You know, she did whatever it took to get us where we needed to be, and love her for that. And like I said, her spirit is with me every day. So thank you for the moment.
Brother Mark, we love you, brother. You like family because, you know, first of all, you allowed, you know, plenty of time for your moms to be family with us. And we one family. So we might be extended, but like Margot knows, you know, your aunt knows, and you know, so I'm your uncle. PG is your uncle. You got family here, bro. So
All right.
So anytime, because we love the legacy that your mother has left us, and we believe in love, life after life. We know that she's an angel with us now. We know that, and we will never forget all of what she did. We wish we could hug her, but I talk to her on my altar, just like I do Garvey, just like I do Amy, just like I do Renoko. So we're gonna move forward. So Mark, stay with us,
All right.
please. If you
Will
can,
do.
you're welcome to stay with us, bro. And we want to run through this and open it up to everybody. But I just want to say, PG, thank you for letting me know Mark was on. There's a brother on here that was like a brother to another mother that we talk about, and I want to jump right to him right now. You notice I didn't lump him in with the other three because I left Brother Hasim and Nkrumah for you, bro, because I know Hasim was, listen, for y'all that don't know, any UNIA meeting that Hasim was at, he was on duty all the time.
All the time.
But not only that, he was a historian, he was a leader, and he goes all the way back with the Nkrumah family. So Baba Akili, please, let's talk a little bit about my brother Hasim. I want to open it up for everybody too.
If talking about Asim is, it's the emotional piece. Asim Nkrumah was everything you said and more. He was a leader. He was a father. He was a grandfather. He was a student. He was a teacher. He was a friend. He was my brother. To this day, I still have Asim's phone number in my phone. I know one day he gonna call me. I'm gonna probably be scared when he do. But I know that call coming. I have arrived because of that interaction. I met Asim before he was Asim. We often think of our ancestors in the light that they touched our lives. Marcus Garvey, we think of him as Marcus Garvey, the founder of the UNIA ACL, and then the Black Star Line, and that's how we see him. We think of Amy Jacques Garvey as that spiritual connecting force that helped and secured the motivation of Marcus Messiah Garvey. But we also have to see Amy as a wife and a mother. You have to see Garvey as a man, a father, and a husband. Asim was all of that, and a brother, and a friend, and a revolutionary. Whenever I hit the road coming to DC, my co-pilot who couldn't drive was Asim. He made sure I got there, he made sure I got home. But he only came if I was coming home, because as a husband, his first responsibility was to secure his home and secure his queen and his children. There is in all of us, that aspect of us that we have a tendency not to talk about. So if I'm talking about Asim, I can tell you he was the best student. He was the best teacher. He was the most prolific leader of the Marcus Garvey Shule in the UNIA. He was who people from across the country came to for guidance. But you won't know him unless you know him as Asim, as his street name was Wolf. Check that out. And if y'all know the wolf's nature, that was Asim's nature. His queen, Sister Karima Nkrumah, and I was hoping that she would be here tonight, or his son, Hakeem Nkrumah, or his daughter, Malika Nefertiti, or his grandchildren. His granddaughter, to whom when he retired, he took care of, had really a protective vibe about her pop-up. When I went to the house, she wanted to know who is this? Because this is my time. This is my time. And so he said, no, this is my brother. This Baba Keely. And she was like, yeah, okay. It took her a moment to get used to me coming. But that was because of his impact on her life. He didn't see her go to college, but he prepared her for everything in her life. He watched his daughters and his sons create great things. Akeem came to the UNIA. He was one of the youth that the elders sent away because he was youth and he was strong and he was bred and born into the movement and creative and good. And they were afraid because as elders, we have a tendency or had a tendency to be afraid of the youth movement. Akeem never was. I am who I am because of who he was. When I went to 121 to explain to them our position, Akeem was with me. And as things was breaking out crazy, he looked and he said, Baba Keely, I ain't know who I was going to have to take down if you cut loose. He said, thank you for not cutting loose.
So PG,
yeah.
So we got, I want to holler these two people out, and then we're going to open it up because I want to hear from others about some of these names that we're mentioning because it's important. But Delani Amon, who was the first president of the Harambe Radio Network.
Yes.
And I want to specifically say to y'all, Delani was like a brother to me from another mother. When he came, got the radio network, he grew up here in DC, in River Terrace. He learned how to make dental parts. And Brother Delani was a devout race first person. He did not take no prisoners. He did everything he could to do business with Black people building Harambe Radio. But Delani's spirit is so powerful. Harambe means pulling together. And all of these people that I've named, Brenda, Amanifu, even James Wilson, even Paula, Renoko, Abente was never on, but all of them were on Harambe with Delani. Brenda actually did a program on Harambe, educational program along with Mary. So Delani was the connecting kind of brother. And he was like, Senghor, we got to have our own network. So that's where we built Harambe. To this day, we got over at least 100 videos on the New Black Learning Channel because of Delani Amon's legacy. So Delani Amon lives, Renoko Rashidi, Hassim, Amanifu, Brenda, James Wilson, Paul.
But Baba Senghor, can just go back for a minute to Delani Amon.
Come on.
And you know, and I don't want y'all to think, oh, Baba Keely, you just got to interrupt him. No, but Delani was really another unique spirit on this planet. I didn't have a program, but he loved when I was on anybody's program. And he said, you just keep coming on the program and you just keep talking because we need to hear what you got to say. I need us to understand in New York, when he came to New York, I think it was 2012 or 2014 with his daughter, and said she's going to have Harambe. And we were at the Schomburg Museum, his speech in reference to her. Let me tell you something, brothers. And I'm saying to the brothers, if you have a daughter, make that investment. And to the sisters, if you have a son, make the investment. Because I know all of us on here will, but I don't know everybody that's listening. So all of y'all who are listening, all of y'all who are looking on Facebook or wherever you see this, understand that there's an investment. That brother made an investment in his daughter and in his children. And when they did his homegoing, I learned the things that Senghor already knew about him in the neighborhood, him with the bottle under the porch that blew up. And then you begin to see the person. All of us are people. And what we have to recognize and respect and love is that ingenuity that the ancestors and the creator does to move you through life, to get you to the point that you can contribute unbound.
So let me just mention this sister, and I have an elder on that I want to call on, and because I know she knew quite a few of these people. Verona Irate, powerful. For those that do not know Sister Verona, Verona was a super powerful go-getter. She didn't take no prisoners. She helped Night Wolf and all of the indigenous Indians do all kinds of work via radio. She was consistent, very consistent with her activism. And I love Sister Verona because she would always speak truth to power. And so she was a strong Garveyite too, for those who do not know. But we wanted to honor her because her legacy, as well as Sister Paula's legacy and Bente's, are so powerful because we know African women lead, and they're all angels with us right now. And I also want to say, even though I've mentioned everybody, there's plenty of people that still may want to speak about any one of these folks. But I want to see if my mother, Mama Jeanette, my mom, my spiritual mother, Mama Jeanette, who is on. Mama Jeanette Carson, are you with us, Mama Jeanette? Can you speak? Mama Jeanette, are you able to speak? I see she's on, but maybe she cannot holler at us. I don't know if she's on a phone or what. But if you can, Mama Jeanette, at any time and you want to share, just let us know. But I want to open the floor up. I'm Baba Mosi. I want you to speak about any one of them, these ancestors that you wish to speak on. I want to hear from Brother Julius and Congo and anybody else that's on. Please, y'all don't hesitate, because we're going to stop at 9:30, but before we close, the President General is going to do a closing message and we have a video. But I do want to continue to talk about these ancestors that we're honoring. Baba Mosi.
Yes, thank you, my brother. Now, let me say something. Mama Jeanette has been having problems with her
Okay.
connection, so maybe that's why she can't speak right now.
Okay, thanks, Baba.
But you know, I'm the youngest person around here. So I don't know too much. I don't know too many people. I personally, well, for the money, I met him in 2010 when he came to, I think it was High Executive Council meeting we had in Washington, D.C. in 2010. And so that's when I met him, and we had all this conversation about his life and what he does and how he got where he got to through like self-training. I mean, he was a self-taught person in many things, and I was quite amazed at his talent and his skills. So but I also am amazed about his dedication to the UNIA and to his people. So he's one of those spirits that we'll always remember because of the works he has done that stays with us.
Yes.
Going on to James Wilson, that's another person who, not a long relationship, but that relationship was so impactful because of his demands. His dedication to being a person who, when he puts his mind to something, you have to be straight with him, and he put it out there. I'm straight with this, that, or the other, and besides that, accountability. When it comes to dealing with funds, he became the treasurer of the Division 330, and his thing was that we have to have a checkbook. you know, he wasn't too much, he wasn't so sanguine about the electronic things. He wants a paper trail.
Yes.
So it was about a checkbook and all that
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
So, and it shows that, you know, he would get frustrated if things aren't, if you can't find things through a paper trail.
Mhm.
He wanted that to be sure. And I've learned from him too that when, you know, when you're dealing with things that involves money, you have to be careful, and you have to be righteous. And I would say that for him because he's done stuff not just for the Division 330, but you know, for Baba Senghor and whatever else they had going on, any program and so on that involved. And I've seen him handling the cash. So he was one of those people who you can trust. I mean, put it that way. He was a trustworthy brother.
Mhm.
So, you know, Baba Runoko. What can I say? You know, I traveled with him through Mexico. I learned a lot about him. He learned a lot about me. In the
Mhm.
sense of you know, his knowledge about history and you know, his you know, his adventurous spirit, because that he had. I mean, he, you know, if there was something that seemed you know, related to the African person that he had never seen before, and he would pass through a town or whatever it is, you know, he'd get off that bus and, you know, he didn't look like somebody who can move too fast. But when it comes to finding out and checking on that thing that he had never seen, that brother was, you know, he was going at high gear. So yeah, I really and truly admired him for the way he dedicated, and as a Garveyite, you know, there are few people who I can say yes, indeed. You know, he is, you know, he positively showed that he's a Garveyite because he traveled the world and he did not at any time, as far as I know, deny his connection with Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Right.
Admiration
Never
for
did. Never did.
UNIAACL. So
Mhm.
those are some of the people that I can speak of. There are more. You know, I've noticed a sister whose picture's on our flyer, but I didn't hear her being mentioned. And Nana Shishibi.
No,
Baba.
Nana's not in this on this list, bro.
She's not on the list, but
No,
okay.
we got a special place for
We got to do something special.
Baba Mosi. We have a
I'm
special.
not confused. I don't want to confuse anything. So
No,
let's-
well, Baba Mosi, I got to clarify since you called it out.
yeah, all right.
We got a special place for Nana Sashebi. She's
Mm,
gonna be with some other ancestors. So
okay.
there's a whole lot of
Mm.
Division 330 members that we just dealt with some recent ones. But
Okay.
we got a big time, you know, Nana was not one of the people on the flyer.
Oh,
If I may.
oh, it
Yeah.
it looked like her, but anyway, yeah,
No, Nana,
But
the
Baba
younger
Moses,
version. But anyway, it's all right.
but Baba
I'll
Moses.
stop there because we don't have much time.
No, don't, you may, but I just want to say, you know, there are always going to be ancestors that we come back to in a program that we designed to engulf their greatness.
Right.
Sister Sheila, as she was addressing Amy Jacques Garvey, there's going to be another moment where that can be embraced,
Right.
because as she began to talk, you could see she was engulfed in it. And that's a rarity to see. But that's when I appreciated the president first assistant saying, wait a minute, we're gonna come back to you, because she would have continued to talk right now. And everything she said would have been valuable.
Absolutely.
I want to clarify for the listeners, y'all. We have 9 ancestors that we're honoring along with Marcus and Amy. There are plenty more. We got over 20 more in the DC area alone. So there's going to be plenty more times to honor the ancestors. But remember, once we honor 9, we're honoring all of our ancestors. You hear what I'm saying? So we
Mhm.
might not call their names tonight and specifically go in, but when we honor Nana, we will be bringing some of her sons on, and we will be honoring her husband too, Jerry, and we'll be honoring other people on the continent and different people. So I just wanted to make it clear that 9, 9 is all we could get in tonight, and that's Renoko Rashidi, Brenda Dunn Clayton, Amanifu Harvey, James Wilson, Paula Wright Coleman, Bente Renee Soul, Hasim Nkrumah, Delani Aman, and Verona Irate. And their names are under their pictures, Baba. So please check out the names. And I know we all look very close like one another. You probably mistaken either Verona or Bente, you know, because of their head wraps. You probably did that. But anyway, that's okay, because obviously that's resonating with you. And we will be talking to you because we're going to be doing quite a few specials honoring ancestors. We got Kamal Robinson, Farouk Muhammad, Chris Crowder. This is just in the DC area. We got ancestors in Philly. We got ancestors in Chicago. We got ancestors. Garveyites are everywhere. But remember, there's more ancestors than it is us.
Yes.
So Brother Julius was saying, we're not just talking about those ancestors that were physically with us that we work with. We're going all the way back. So this is an example for everybody of how important these legacies are, because the President General hit the nail on the head. They all are directly connected because they committed their lives to serve for the upliftment of the African race, like what we're doing today. And that's what we're trying to do. So no pun intended, but we love them all, even those ones that we don't even know their names.
Yes.
So what I want to do now, and Baba, time is of essence, but you know, because you're right, Baba Mosi. But what I want to do now is also talk a little bit about tomorrow, because Sister Vicky had asked, and I'm going to call her. But the way the river walk has been taking place for many, many years. But what has happened is Adasi is also in Africa. They also in other places. So they're doing something simultaneously. But in addition to that, last 4 years ago, a coalition was formed for everybody that goes to the river. Now, everybody doesn't do it on June the 10th. You got other people, but New York, Hampton, Virginia, South Carolina, out in California, in Nigeria, in Senegal. All of this is happening tomorrow. Now, if you want to be a part of the program, it's not just a walk to the river. There's an extensive program that is done at Union Temple at 10 a.m. that is a spectacular program before we go to the river. When we go to the river, it is a concept of giving everybody a stone. Once we do prayers, that stone is thrown in the river. The particular river that we go to is historical because it used to be a bridge in the Washington, D.C. area, where on one side you have free Africans and on the other side you still had slaves. So it is a very strategical march from Union Temple, not a long walk, to the river. But I will call you, my sister, to let you know, and Baba Mosi and I will both be there tomorrow. We'll be there on time, but I will make sure that, you know, you got any other questions, I will answer them. I saw that in the chat. But I want to open it up for those people we may not have heard from that may want to share. You included, Sheila, but I know that Mama Mary probably has more to say about other ancestors. We cut her off at Brenda. So I want to go back to Mama Mary because she knew everybody here. Maybe one person I know.
I want to say something about Brother Delani. Even though I was on his radio show, Harambe with Sister Brenda, more than once, we had a Saturday, I think once a month we were there on a Saturday, and we had to prepare a program, and Brenda and I would work together to prepare the content for the program. We did many programs like that. And the other thing I want to say about Delani is what I learned from him after he made his transition. I want to thank publicly Brother Senghor for sending me the book. I read the book as soon as I got it. I opened that book and I read it from cover to cover the first night. Delani was one hell of a brother. That's all I can say.
Yeah. The name of the book is I Must Let My People
I must let my people
Ashe,
know.
Sister Mary, Ashe.
I must let my people know is the name of the book. Now, I don't know if that book is out of print, but we need to get it back in print and get it to our people.
His daughter Devon says she's going to work on getting it reprinted. So
It definitely needs to be,
because
it's so straightforward. I mean, everything he prints about, it's like he went in categories and dealt with so many aspects of our lives as we are as people, as couples. He talked about players, no players allowed. I mean, he talked about almost everything that affects us as Black people. And he did it in a short space. The book is only over a few pages, over 100 pages, but he really actually contacted and actually connected with all of us. So I would urge everybody who has that book, if you haven't read it, read it. And if you need to, if you read it once, read it again.
So let me just add what Mary is saying. The book is called I Must Let My People Know. The reason Delani wrote the book is out of frustration of watching our brothers and sisters trip out on drugs. Delani came up on the rough side of DC in River Terrace. Delani had several brothers that were powerful. Many of them went the wrong way. Delani had a lot of experiences that he experienced. And so when he said, I must let my people know, wrote the book, that's what he was striving to do, is to try to let his people know how important their history is and how important it is for us to address issues of family.
Right.
He had 2 children at that time, before he had the daughter that Baba Keeley was talking about, when he wrote, I Must Let My People Know. After he wrote the book, Delani and I used to go on the airways, WOL and other airways, and it was so many commercials, we couldn't really get a lot of time to get our messages out. So Delani decided, his oldest son gave him advice to set up his own radio network. Delani had no knowledge of that. Delani was a dental parts maker and was very good at it, had a high time profession. His daughter is doing that kind of work today and a very, very good professional at making dental parts. Delani decided, because he wanted to make sure the people knew, and his family, because he saw a lot of things, that he wanted to go on the airways. So after writing his book, he set up Harambe, which is pulling together. So I had to add that to what Mary said. And that's how he became a Garveyite. When I met Delani, Delani was like, I was like, Delani, you need to be in the UNI. He said, Senghor, I'm already in the UNI. I said, no, you ain't paid no dues. He said, how much are they? He paid them. And the next thing I know, Delani was calling me up after he had Harambe and said, I want my own division. And so he set up a cyberspace division that I'm the president, acting president of today. And Mama Mary is the vice president and the secretary of that division. Right. So Delani has already built a legacy. They call it the cyberspace division. But let me tell y'all something. We ain't in cyberspace. We on the ground in Atlanta. We in New Orleans. We just hosted the High Executive Council meeting. We're in Chicago. We're in different other places. We're in Julius, Brother Julius is on with us right now. Brother Julius, this is a great time for you to chime in because of the time factor. If you're still with us, Brother Julius is not with us now, I don't think. But at any rate, we want to close really at 9:30. So I'm going to open the floor up to anybody that may have something that they want to say before I turn it over to Brother Heru, to the President General, to close us out with a message, and Brother Heru that's going to play a video, because right now it's 9:18. So last call. Anybody want to share anything real quick that's burning on their heart? But you got to do it in a quick kind of time period. Anybody? Well, like I say, our ancestors are living and with us. Their legacies are far, and I mean, it's so much. And like Mary said, you can get more information about Delani by checking in with 369. I want to thank 3:30 for allowing us this time, but the President General and the parent body are also hosting tonight. So that's why you hear a lot from me and the PG, and you hear a lot from Mary, even though Baba Mosi is also a parent body member. He always tries to, on Freedom Friday, he always tries to just play president, but he's a minister of information for us. So, but at any rate, without any further ado, PG, you want to play the video first, or you want to do your message, your closing message first? Which option do you have? You got an option.
I got an option.
You want to play the video?
Play the video.
All right. So while Heru is pulling the video up and some pictures, Heru, pull the pictures up first of some of the people so people can see the pictures. So if you can, and then go into the video, and then we're gonna let the PG close us out. Brother Heru. Heru?
He there.
Hey, brother Heru. Okay. Amanifu Harvey. Dr. Amanifu Harvey. Amy Jocks Garvey.
Mhm.
Look at that serious look.
Yeah.
Hasim Nkrumah, our Auditor General.
Mhm.
Hasim Nkrumah. Love you, bro.
That's my brother, my friend, my inspiration.
Woo, woo, woo. Y'all, Bente, Sister Bente.
Yes.
Bente, my sister. I coming out of Philadelphia, but spent a lot of time here in DC. Then went back to Philadelphia, cared for her mother for a long time before
Yeah.
went before us, and Bente went before us. Beautiful sister.
Sister Brenda.
Brenda
Sister
Dunn.
Brenda Dunn. Yes.
Woo! Heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
In the whirlwind with the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Amy Jocks Garvey, Queen Mother Moore, Alma Golden. Oh,
Yeah.
Delani Amon.
Delani Amon.
Delani Amon. Former president of Division 369.
Mhm.
Founder of Harambe.
Yes, and the New Black Learning Channel. And a heck of a brother.
Yes.
James Wilson.
James Wilson.
James Wilson.
Fine as kind. He got his little towel. Boy, James is powerful brother. Powerful brother. Like I said, James knew a lot of people. He actually knew Stevie Wonder for real.
Mhm.
And you know, he just, I mean, and vibe with Stevie. I mean, you know, James used to get around. The Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey in the whirlwind.
Yes.
Yes. All right, that picture.
Serious look.
Yes.
Paula Wright Coleman, look at that beautiful smile. Paula Wright Coleman.
And I remember that smile.
Members of ADASI, the
Yes.
African Diaspora Ancestral Commemoration Institute. And man, they build altars. They build altars for the UNIA Centennial in 2014. They built altars for everybody anywhere. Baba Renoko Rashidi, our African ambassador. Wow, boy, we miss you, Renoko.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss you all.
Yeah, yes, we
Mhm.
miss them all. We miss them all. But you know, at the same token, I talk to them from time to time.
They talk to us.
Yes,
Yes.
they do. Verona, Sister Verona. Like I say, Verona's very powerful, powerful Garveyite sister. Many of you may not know a lot about Verona, but Verona was no joke. Powerful sister.
Mm.
And just went before us not long ago. So now, Haru, go ahead and go ahead and play the video so people can get a taste of the Garvey movement history, and then the President General is going to close us out. I want to thank everybody for taking time out for honoring these 9 ancestors, actually 11, But like I say, 9 is the completion of man and woman, and those 9 are tied.
The year was 1916, when a 29-year-old Jamaican-born man with a love for Africa, pride in African people, and a vision of Pan-African unity, love, and strength, arrived on America's eastern shores, armed with an impenetrable sense of purpose,
a long time coming. One day we're
duty,
gonna do a program
and destiny.
like this.
Just 54 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, 51 years after the end of the Civil War, with the vast majority of
Love you
blacks
too,
in
baby.
America still mentally enslaved,
See you tomorrow.
experiencing widespread race-based discrimination, terrorism, and despair, black codes, Jim Crow, peonage, and lynchings, and economic collapse in a world at war. 90% of the African continent colonized by 7 European nations, and Africans throughout the diaspora, systemically oppressed, with few signs of better days ahead. In spite of these things and more, less than 1 decade after his arrival to America, he was leading the largest black movement in the history of the world. His name, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. His organization, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which he and his first wife, Amy Ashwood, previously launched in Jamaica in 1940. Though the ideology of Pan-Africanism was slowly taking hold amongst some in this era, it was Marcus Garvey's vision of a strong, self-sufficient, global black nation, along with his scholarship, total commitment, and organizing prowess that was pivotal in taking Pan-Africanism from theory to practice. From May of 1917, when the New York branch of the UNIA was launched, the first branch on American soil, through June of 1923, the accomplishments of the UNIA against all odds and all efforts to stop them grew and grew. These accomplishments include over 4 million members worldwide, even more supporters, over 1,000 branches of the organization throughout 42 countries, the Negro World newspaper, a shipping company, the Black Star Line, the Negro Factories Association, wholesale, retail, and manufacturing businesses, grocery stores, restaurants, laundrettes, a printing press, tailor shop, black doll manufacturing, a trucking company, hotels, farms, a nursing agency, and a paramilitary division, established our flag, the red, black, and green, and established the Declaration of Rights of the Negro peoples of the world. The accomplishments made by Marcus Garvey in the UNIA laid a foundation of strength and self-determination that inspired widespread liberation movements, leading to 55 African nations winning their independence. His example is still used as the blueprint for progressive action around the world. Marcus Garvey, elected to serve as the provisional president of Africa by delegates representing 25 countries, was and is a global symbol of black pride, unity, and self-determination. A symbol that directly or indirectly influenced the trajectory of our greatest heroes and sheroes. From activists such as Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Steve Biko, Ida B. Wells, and Kwame Ture, to nation builders such as Haile Selassie I, Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela, Sekou Toure, Elijah Muhammad, Leonard P. Howell, and Jomo Kenyatta. From communities like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to the Harlem Renaissance, from scholars and business leaders, to athletes and entertainers, from the early 1900s to this very day. The list of those inspired by the greatness of the Garvey movement and its legacy of black pride, progress, and knowledge of self is endless. After being wrongfully convicted of mail fraud in 1923 and given a 5-year prison sentence, in 1927, his sentence was commuted and he was deported back to Jamaica, where he and his second wife, Amy Jacques Garvey, were met by the largest and most enthusiastic crowd in Jamaica's history. Marcus Garvey transferred UNIA headquarters back to Jamaica, ran a daily newspaper called The Black Man, started the first political party, the People's Political Party, and successfully got 3 members of that party elected to the Kingston City Council. This visionary leader, considered one of the 3 pillars of Pan-Africanism and a prophet of the Rastafarian faith, died of a stroke on June 10th, 1940 in London, England, at just 53 years of age. He was survived by his loving wife, Amy Jacques Garvey, a brilliant revolutionary in her own right, and his 2 sons, Marcus Garvey Jr. and Julius Garvey, both endowed with their father's progressive vision and revolutionary spirit. From statues, parades, street and school namings, to books, lectures, and the pouring of libations, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Jamaica's first national hero, continues to be honored throughout the world. Though physically no longer with us, the spirit of Marcus Garvey is still felt, his contributions still remembered, and his name still recounted during acts of Black pride, acts of Black unity, and acts of Black liberation to this very day.
PG.
Hmm.
President General Akili Nkrumah, close us out, brother.
Yes, I heard you. I guess I was kind of resonating on all the film and the sites. First, let me say to all of you, I appreciate all of you and your presence here this evening and all of your words. I appreciate the live and real human experience that we shared this evening. It's not only showed an appreciation for those who have transitioned and moved on to the next level, but it showed an appreciation for their work and therefore appreciation for those of us who still have work to do. We have a lot to do. And those memories, Amy Jacques Garvey, Sister Sheila, I look for Amy in you. I look for her work, her deeds in you. I look for you to bring that forth, not as a scholar, but as a part of the UNIA ACL and move it to the next level. You can't carry the spirit and not carry the movement. I look for us to immortalize. You know, I say immortalize. I look for us to recognize that those lives we recognize tonight are still alive. Marcus is always alive. We know that. Look for me in the whirlwind. I will be the real Marcus Garvey. But also recognize too, Asim Nkrumah, he's with me every day, every hour. I'm never alone. His illness never got in the way of him covering my back, even when it was a challenging time. I'll never forget that. And I would walk into the hospital room and he would be there, not responding to anybody. Black power. And his brother would respond to Black power. His sister Queen said, he ain't responding to nobody but you. Then you need to stay here. I carry him every day. That spirit, that essence, that movement is what we celebrate tonight. Delani Aman, to say to us, we have to teach, we have to make sure we are creating messages and images that we teach our people who the hell we are. Because let me tell you something, our greatness is yet. Runoko Rashidi traveled the world to say, let me show you where you were, where you never thought you were. I traveled the world to teach teach you the greatness of your people. Marcus Messiah Garvey laid a foundation that we've all stepped on. We have a duty, a responsibility to move this forward, not to falter. The reason we are the Rehabilitating Committee 2020 is because we recognize in 2020 the need to maintain the movement of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey at the level of spirit and principles that he laid for us. We didn't talk tonight too much about Charles R. James. I know Senghor, that's the one to come. I know Thomas W. Harvey is one to come. I know Gene Slappy is one to come. I know this. I know Nwano Fuenzi and Nkrumah, Asim's brother, my brother, is one to come. But in all of that essence, family, and to the community that listens, our people need a strong, a consistent, a committed entity. And that is the UNIA ACL RC 2020 to raise us above the fray. I want to say this to us and let the world hear it. You know, the reason these white folks keep talking about Biden's age is because behind Biden is a sister. He fall off the mantle, that sister takes the lead. They are afraid of a Black woman leading. We have to embrace Black women, African women, what? Lead.
Lead, that's right.
African women lead. It's no joke that Amy Jacques Garvey was prepared for that. It's not by happenstance that when they sat down to counsel Marcus Garvey on which way you need to go after Amy Jacques Garvey, that after Amy Ashwood Garvey, that Amy Jacques Garvey was the choice. She stood in the wedding, but she stood in the wedding and saying, I have the tools that you need. I have the love that you need. I give you the security that you need. And for all intents and purposes, I not only got your back, I can lead this. That's what we have to understand and secure. I am so appreciative of this beginning and recognition of those who have gone before us and realize that it's going to come again. And at one point in some time, we hope we pass this on to those who will recognize us when we make that transition. For the record, y'all, I ain't going nowhere no time soon. I still got work to do. And there's still work to be done. No, it's Baba Mosey, no, it's Sister Mary, Sister Margaret. We here, y'all. Brother Senghor here. You say, well, how you choose to say that? Because I did Sister Sheila, she here. That spirit is here, that essence. Sister Vicky is here. That spirit is essence. Family. Brenda Dunn Clayton.
Yeah.
I done seen that finger.
Yes.
You seen the finger.
Oh, yeah.
Baba. And what I want to say is, as my mother led me, so do you. As my father guided me, so do you. We are one family. We are one people. We have one cause. We have one destiny. Therefore, we say one God, one aim, one destiny, because that's what moves us forward. I had an opportunity, and I know, Senghor, you told me to close out, so I know I'm running over time, to meet Sister Opal Lee, who is considered the grandmother, and I named her the Queen Mother of Juneteenth, 96 years old. And here's her statement to all of us, and I'm giving it to all of you. We all young people, if we're not 96. She's 96. We all young people. So stop this. We getting old. We got time. No, we ain't met. Not when we get to 96, we can talk about it. Mary Bolton might say, well, yeah, you get to 83, we can talk about it. No, Mary, she said 96. So you got 13 years to go before you can talk about being old. Listen, y'all, claim this life, claim this future, claim this work, claim the success of this movement, and embrace it as if it was your firstborn. And when you do that, you never stand alone. You stand united. You stand with one God. You stand with one aim. You stand with one destiny. Garvey said, build a nation so African people could sit on the world stage and give it. And I'm going to say to you, that was then. And here's what we must do. Build that nation so that when we're on the world stage, we lead the people in the way that they should go, because they've been lost.
Yes.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's our job to lead them.
Yes.
And in my closing, in my final statement, I appreciate all of you. Single already said all of us Garveyites can talk. And I'm going to say I'm a Garveyite, but I ain't learned how to talk a long time yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning.
Mm.
Be quiet, Baba Mosey. I heard that. But I want to say, as we make the steps in RC 2020, really, family, there are other entities around us. None of them have gravitated to we exonerate Garvey. And if we as a people, regardless of our differences, can't find unification around we exonerate Garvey, those who do not join that movement are not Garveyites. Because Garvey was wrongfully prosecuted, prisoned, and therefore executed. Amy Jacques Garvey spent her entire life trying to fix that. We're not going to spend a lifetime fixing it. We already declare it to be so. And we declare it in his name and in her honor. And in the memory of his sons and his grandchildren that they brought to this world. We claim and we demand that the world recognizes that this government, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Community Leagues Rehabilitating Committee 2020, we exonerate Garvey. We exonerate Garvey. Amy Jacques Garvey put us on the right path. Marcus Messiah Garvey gave us the right movement. Brother Delani, Renoka Rashidi, Asim Nkrumah, and all of the names that we brought up tonight has showed us as lampposts that we're on the proper path. So let's move forward, family. Let's move forward, African community. We exonerate Garvey. We exonerate Garvey.
Exonerate God.
Exonerate Garvey.
Yes, we exonerate Garvey.
We exonerate Garvey.
Act
We
power.
exonerate Garvey. Yes.
Yeah, and look for all the ancestors in the whirlwind, you all. Thank y'all so much for taking your time out. Those that can join us tomorrow, those that, everybody can join us. You don't have to be there physically. Y'all remember what I'm saying now. Anywhere there's water. And if it ain't none, you can run some in your bathtub, in your sink. If you can't get to no water, do some rituals tomorrow, because our ancestors are very much our angels, and we will win. Never be content with the food of chickens. One God, one aim.
One aim, one destiny.
Thank you, President General. Thank you, President
Yes.
General. Thank you, Baba Mosley. Thank you, Secretary General Mary, and thank everybody. Thank you, Sister
Yes.
Sheila. Thank you, Congo. Thank you, all of you who joined tonight. Thank you, Brother Heru. Anyway, I see people putting things in the chat.
Sister Sheila, thank you so much. I have to have a conversation with you.
All right,
Okay, Baba, thank you. Look forward to it.
you can take us away, Heru, off of Facebook.